Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, happy whatever you celebrate. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas. And let's celebrate by talking about Silent Night, Daily Night Part 5, The Toy Maker. This was the first time viewing, and just so you know, parts 3, 4, and 5 are on Tubi. That is how I've been able to watch these and review them. And because I don't own them, that is why I don't have access to so many clips. I don't have, clips that I usually have in these videos, especially part 4. I couldn't find shit. So if you're wondering where all the editing is and all the clips and why I don't do awards for these reviews, it's because I don't have access to the clips. So there you go. Now let's get into the movie. Silent Night, Dead Night Part 5 stars Mickey Rooney. Let's talk about that real quick. So this hypocritical motherfucker wrote a letter in 1984 when Silent Night Deadly Night came out, saying that it was basically this immoral, horrible piece of trash that shouldn't exist. It's, it's gonna ruin kids' lives. We should demonize the makers and just put them behind bars. Like, he was being crazy. He wrote letters, he was protesting the film, and then flash forward like 6 years later, and he's one of the main stars in Silent Night Deadly Night Part 5, and I have to wonder if he even knew this was a part of the franchise. Because sometimes when you make a movie, they have different titles. There's alternate titles. There's movies that have like 3 or 4, And even the Friday the 13th, they were made in secret under different titles. So I have to wonder if he even knew what he was getting himself into. Because, the balls on that guy to do and say what he did and said, writing letters and acting like that was just horrible trash and no one should watch it, and then be in a sequel not even a decade later. Like, he must have really needed money, or he didn't know what this was. I'm really curious if he knew that this was a part of it, or if it was like a joke, some kind of prank being pulled on him. Like, they gave him a script that had a different title at the top, and then they're all snickering behind his back, and he's like, "What are they laughing at?" It's like, he doesn't know that it's Silent Night, Deadly Night. He just thinks it's called The Toy Maker or Evil Pinocchio, because that's really what this is. This is like an evil spin on Pinocchio. You got, this guy named Pinocchio, and then this other guy named Pedo. Geppetto, whatever his name was. I'm not familiar with that cartoon all that well. But, they call him Pedo. That sounds like a nickname you would give a pedophile. Have you met my friend Victor Salva? We call him Pedo. That's just so really weird. Like, a old guy who looks like a pedophile being creepy, giving toys to kids. His name is Pedo. Like, that's like just telling you right out the gates. Like, this guy's a pedophile more than likely, because his name's Pedo. It's just so silly. But yeah. Anyways, this movie's about killer toys, basically. This guy makes toys that come to life, and they cause havoc. Now, why exactly he's doing it, I'm not sure. It's been a couple of days since I've watched the movie. I was going to record yesterday, but there was a rainstorm, so you would have been hearing that the entire time as I was recording, so I had to postpone. So now I can finally record it today, but now I'm blanking on what the hell his motivation was, but who cares? Let's get into the movie. What were the things that I liked about this movie? First up, the opening. Just like part 4, this has a really cool opening. It's really fun. It's just, it sets the wrong tone, though. I really wish this could have, continued throughout. You get this opening where a toy is killing a guy, and it's fun. The way it's done. You got this song, Jingle Bells, and then it turns into like the funeral march song, and then it like wraps around the guy's head, and then he like falls down and impales himself. You get some cool little gore effects here and there in the movie. Cool stuff. So I really wish they would have kept that going throughout the film, but unfortunately, it's not all fun and games. It's a little dramatic at times, and the pacing is a little, but we're not there. We're in the good stuff. So opening, really fun opening. Just unfortunately doesn't continue that entertainment throughout. But I do think the kills in this movie are very entertaining. They're silly, and I like that we get to see multiple different variations of toys killing. It's not just like 1 or 2. They have a wide variety. You got roller skates, which is just stupid but funny. And then you got like the ball that wraps itself around the guy. You got the snake thing and this thing. There's quite a few. There's like robot things that actually shoot. That kind of reminded me of the soldiers and like the toy soldiers and dolls that actually have real guns, So that was cool, funny, and there's like inside jokes in this movie too that I really liked seeing, like little jokes that you would only get if you were familiar with not only part four but also Brian Yuzna and everything he's been a part of. There's reanimator jokes. There's people wearing reanimator shirts. There's, I swear, like a prop, like some kind of creature prop from part four on the wall somewhere. So I liked all that stuff. It just makes it more fun of a watch because then once you see a couple, you're like really paying attention. Like, what else is there that I don't want to miss? And I really like this premise. It's really corny. It's cheesy as hell. It's not realistic. It's not grounded or anything, but that's fine. I love it. I love that they took the more supernatural route again, just like part four. The witches and rituals. This franchise went from being more realistic and more grounded with serial killers to witches and now toys coming to life and killing people. And I like this premise. It actually has something to do with the holiday. It goes with the theme of Christmas. We got a little bit of Christmas atmosphere in here, Christmas trees and all that stuff. So way better than part four when it comes to the aesthetic, the atmosphere, and actually having something to do with the holiday. Part four had nothing to do with Christmas. This actually does. So, and that third act is where it gets really bonkers, really cheesy, and that is when I really start to dig the film because I like crazy films that get ridiculous, you know. But as for the negatives, for some reason they felt the need to give you a little dumb, electricity effects where you see like this purple static on the toys. It's like supposed to like let you know like, oh, it's turning evil. It's like you could have did something else to let us know. It's like we know these toys are evil. We don't need this little weird squiggly line on the screen that looks awful and dated to let us know that it's starting to malfunction or something. It's corny. I hate when they use that stupid electricity effect in the film, just a little blue squiggly line on the screen. It's not needed. There's so many pretty good practical effects in here, and then when you throw this, I don't know what you would call it, like a visual effect or some kind of CGI where the electricity comes in, I'm not a fan of it. It's not needed. It's not needed. That's the biggest problem with it, is that it's not needed. And the acting, of course, was not great. It was pretty poor, not all around, but Mickey Rooney was fine. Gets a little over the top here and there, but I wasn't expecting an Oscar performance here, but just wanted to note that the main actress, especially, I didn't think she was that great. But the kid didn't speak, so was his performance good or bad? I don't know. He doesn't really speak. He's Daniel Harris in Halloween 5. We got that going on here. But he did have this stupid, dopey face the whole movie that kind of annoyed me. He just got this dopey look on his face the entire film. And the music, I wasn't a fan of it. It's jarring at times. Felt quickly put together. It wasn't catchy or anything. It didn't really fit the scenes or help the scenes. It was just very low budget music. It sounded like very stock shit. Like, I wasn't a fan of it. And Richard Band did part 4. I wonder why they didn't bring him back for part 5. And the tone would probably be my biggest problem with the movie. It's very wonky. It's unbalanced. It goes from that funny open where you're like, all right, I know what movie I'm in for, to, oh shit, things are getting really serious here and dramatic. You got this whole like subplot going on with this guy who abandoned his son 6 years ago and now he's back and he's trying to get reconnected with the family, and it gets real serious and there's a love scene. It's like, where did this come from? We went from killer toys to this drama, Lifetime bullshit, and then it goes right back into craziness. It's just all over the place with the tone, so I'm not a fan of that at all. I wish they would have kept the consistency of the wildness and just made it more B-movie, cheesy, fun. Not get so damn serious. Did they not know what film they were making? This is about killer toys. Let's not take ourselves too serious here. The body count could have been higher. Like when you have a premise like this, where there's a crazy guy making toys that go haywire on purpose, like he wants them to attack the kids for some reason. You could have had like scene after scene where we saw other kids like opening up presents and getting attacked, because this one kid we're following, he's not the only one getting gifts, right? I mean, this guy's done it before. They said years ago where he sent multiple gifts out. They could have had like a montage in there where we saw just kid after kid getting demolished by these toys. We could have had a high body count here, but nope. I'm going to blame that on lack of budget. And this movie doesn't even have the balls to kill children. That's a nitpick. It's not a real criticism, but it did kind of annoy me. It's like you got this premise with toys that are evil and toys are for children. I'm expecting some kids to die, but none die. It's always the adults. And if a kid does die in films, they're always bullies. They're always shitheads first. Look at the remake of Silent Night. Case in point. And then in this one, you got a kid who gets hurt but not killed. But final thoughts, this is not a terrible film. It does not deserve the low rating that it has. It is fun. Yeah, the tone was a little wonky. It shouldn't have taken itself so serious, but I had a good laugh throughout. It wasn't really that boring. Some people have said that this movie has pacing issues, but I don't agree with that. It wasn't that bad. I wasn't ever like checking my watch or anything. I really like this premise. I like that it actually has something to do with Christmas, and I like seeing these killer toys, and there's some cool kills in here. Not a whole lot, but the ones we do get are pretty memorable. So when it comes to Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5, Toy Maker, give it a shot. Stream it on Tubi or rent it at Redbox. Alright, time for the spoiler discussion. This time I do have things to talk about. Not in Part 4, but I do have things to talk about in this one. So, first up, if you are a parent and you're gonna have sex, you should probably lock your door so that the kid can't walk in and see you fucking your boyfriend. Alright, it's as simple as, there you go. Door's locked, problem solved, kid's not gonna be traumatized. There you go. Maybe that's why he's mute. They say he's mute because he sees his dad or stepdad die in this next scene. He's probably mute because he just saw his mom fucking for the first time. Maybe that's why he's mute. But anyways, so yeah, the dad, he gets attacked. He opens up this gift that says don't open till Christmas, but he opens it up anyways, and then he gets the thing wrapped around him, and then he falls on the fire poker through the side of the head, goes out, blood everywhere, cool stuff. A lot of slow-mo, wasn't a fan of that, too much slow-mo, way too much. But I have a quick question. So, is it the fact that they're opening up these gifts before Christmas that's making them evil, or are these toys going to kill them anyways? Because every single box in the movie that has these evil toys in it says don't open till Christmas, and they always open them before Christmas, and then they get attacked. And then even the one guy who ends up being the biological father, he gives this hotel owner a toy that's not wrapped, but he says don't open it until Christmas. And then he gets in his car, he opens it, and then he gets attacked. So is it just because they're opening before Christmas, they're breaking some kind of rule, and that's what's making the toys go evil? Or is it doesn't really matter, the toys are going to kill no matter what? Just a quick question I had. Alright, so whatever. And then we get the laziest title card ever put together. It's just a lame title card. You go from Silent Night, Deadly Night with the reef and the blood, very 80s awesome title card, and this one it just looks like something that was quickly thrown together on Windows Movie Maker or some shit. It was just poorly done. Awful. Absolutely awful. And then it goes 2 weeks later, and I guess this was a real thing. There's a Rambo cartoon for children. They took an R-rated action franchise and said, hey, let's make a PG version cartoon for children. I did not know that until I saw this movie. That's pretty funny. And then he still has the toy that killed his stepdad. Why? It's on his shelf in his bedroom. Wouldn't you throw that out that night? Give me a fucking break. And then we meet Pino and pedophile, and, and Mickey Rourke, he's playing pedo. And so yeah, we get this whole hotel scene. He's like, get out of here, your credit card's declined. And so he's like, here, I'll give you a toy instead. And then he just runs off with the toy. The toy comes to life. It's this caterpillar looking thing, and it goes in his mouth and goes right out his eyeball as he's driving. And why don't people in movies ever just hit the brakes? They never hit the brakes. I get it, you're panicking, you're not thinking straight, but really, it's in every movie. Every movie, they never, ever hit the brakes, put it in park, and then deal with the situation, it blows my mind. It's in every movie, Child's Play, when there was a good, minute where Chris Sarandon could have just hit the brakes, put it in park, and then deal with the fact that he was being strangled. But no, he's got to keep driving and running over shit. It's just ridiculous. And I like how in this movie, when the car flips over, guess what? It blows up right away. Instantly. As soon as they, the hood, the roof hits the floor, just blows up. They didn't crash into anything. It's just a very simple flip, and then it just blows up. What the fuck? It had, all kinds of... He was, he had like C4 and TNT in his trunk that he was like transporting. It's like, what the hell is in this car that made it blow up like that? That's just ridiculous. And then we get Clint Howard in the movie and Neith Hunter, is that the actress name? You got Kim and Ricky from part 3, and their names are Kim and Ricky, but they're technically different characters, but also not. It's very confusing. Like, Clint Howard, he's playing Ricky once again in this movie, except now he's alive. He died, I'm pretty sure, at the end of part 4. Spoiler for that. And in this one, you also got Kim, and she looks exactly the same. You know, this is like 1 year later. She's got the same haircut, everything, and her character is the same character from part 4. She's named Kim, and at one point she's like, "Oh, you think your day's bad? You should see what I've been through recently." Like, talking about what she went through in part 4. Like, is she supposed to be? Is this the same universe? That's very confusing. I don't get it. And then they're also watching Silent Night, Daily Night Part 4 on TV at one point. So that's so confusing. So and then this little girl at the mall, there's a guy wearing a Reanimator shirt, and this little girl gets on Santa's lap, and she's like, "I want clothes, 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 but if I can't get clothes, I want Bride of Reanimator." There's all these little Reanimator inside jokes here. And so this guy who's like trying to protect his son, that he thinks it's his son, and it is, he's trying to like get to the mom and warn her about these toys because he thinks that, you know, this crazy guy who did it, the same thing that he's doing now 20 years prior in the 70s when he was a kid, is doing it again. So he's grabbing all these toys, he's inspecting them, trying to see if they're, you know, evil or, you know, anything like that, anything malicious in them, wrong. And he's trying to like warn his old girlfriend who doesn't recognize him because he's wearing the Santa outfit, but he goes about it so poorly. Like, instead of just saying like, "Hey, you know, blah blah blah," like instead of just going up to her and not in the Santa outfit and saying, "Hey, here's what's up, you know, these toys, blah blah blah," he instead just starts acting really creepy. He's got the Santa outfit on, so she doesn't recognize him. She tries to get her kid off of him, and he's like, "No, no!" Like, he's just doing everything he can to look and sound like a fucking creep instead of just trying to get his message out as quickly as possible and warn them. It's so ridiculous. It's like, dude, learn how to fucking communicate. Stop acting like a maniac. So then we get this whole ridiculous roller skate scene. This little kid steals a gift out of a trash can and then opens the gift right in front of the house that he just stole it from. But I guess it's in the trash can. You know, first come, first serve. You can take it. He opens it right in front of the house, puts on these skates, and then the skates start malfunctioning, and they're just like rocket skates now. He's flying everywhere. And you know how you get out of that situation? You just fall on your ass. Like, seriously. Like, I'm sitting there like thinking the whole time, like, why doesn't he just lift his feet up? Like, he has control of his legs. He could just fall on his ass, and no matter how fast the wheels are spinning still, it doesn't matter because you're on your ass and your feet aren't on the ground anymore, moron. But instead, he's just spinning in circles for like a whole minute and freaking out, and then he gets thrown into the street and ran over by a car. You think he's dead, but nope, he's still alive at the hospital. This movie doesn't kill children. What a shame. So this guy, who's the biological father, he buys wrapping paper with his son's name on it. I thought that was weird. Like, there's custom wrapping paper at like the Dollar Tree that just says every name ever. Like, he found specific wrapping paper that said Derek. I'm pretty sure it said Derek. Maybe I misread it. But I like how when the biological father, he gets to the house, the little kid Derek is being babysat, and the babysitter's freaking out. She locks the door on him, like, "Go away, creep, I don't know you." And then after that, just gives him all the information on where he can find the mother, you know, who she's babysitting for. Like, "Oh, she works at such and such street. Go attack her there." Like, if you don't know this guy and you're like scared that he's like some creep or perv, why would you give him the work address of the woman? It was just a silly ass scene. There's lots of silly writing in here like that. And then we get like these two sex scenes going on at once between, you know, the main couple and then the babysitter. She brings over her boyfriend to have sex, and then all the toys are attacking them. Mickey Rooney, he comes in there, dumps a bag of toys in there. There's like army people. They have like real guns and they're shooting them, and gets really insane. There's like this one with like two saw blades that come out and they're like sawing the guy's head. I thought we were gonna get a cool decapitation, but no. They just saw both sides of his throat. He bleeds out, I guess. And the girl doesn't even die. It's like, really? It's like, why does she live? Pretty sure she lives. Yeah, she comes outside and there's like a helicopter that crashes into the wall or something. Like, they're purposely trying to lessen the body count here. I love when he runs away from the house. They get there, they see all the carnage that happened to the babysitter couple, and they run off because the kid got kidnapped and sent, taken back to the toy store. And as this guy's running to the toy store, he just yells to the babysitter, and he just goes, and send the cops. And then she's like, to where? Like, where are you going? And then he doesn't answer her. He just keeps running. So the cops never show up by the end of the movie because he never told her where to send the cops. He's like, call the police and then tell them to send cops. All right, that's all the information you need. I gotta go. It's like, if you want the cops to show up, maybe you should tell her where to send them or do it yourself, moron. And so, yeah, then there's this creature prop from part 4 on the wall in the workshop. I saw it looked just like the worm that comes out of her like mouth in part 4, so that was pretty cool. And then we get this little twist that Pinocchio is Rooney, or Mickey Rooney, his character Pedo, and he like killed him and then took his face. Now it's like happy birthday to me, and he's got no dick or balls down there. He's like a Barbie doll. He's like Glenn and Glenda and See the Chucky. And he wants to be her new son, and that's why he kidnapped Derek. And instead of just killing Derek right away, because that's his goal, right, is to kill Derek and be the new son, the replacement, why doesn't he just kill him right away? Why keep him in the bag? It's just stupid. It's convenient writing, silly, but have to point it out. And then he's trying to kill Derek, but he gets stopped. Of course, we can't kill children. But I like how he wants to be the son, but his idea of, a good mother-son relationship is trying to rape your mom. Like, he's on top of her, trying to rape her with his crotchless lower section. We get this final teaser where the camera zooms in on the mannequin's face, and then it starts to like smile or something. There's like electricity on the teeth and eyes. Like, it's alive, it's evil, it's gonna kill them. It's not over yet. Typical ending to be expected. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 5, Toy Maker. What are your thoughts on this movie? Put all your thoughts of it in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you've seen, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, Auf Wiedersehen.